now it's showtime.
Welcome to Damon Does the 6 Questions, where the same 6 questions can tell a unique story. I am your host, Damon, father of 2, husband of 1, and leader of this here Damodcast. Thank you for joining me on our maiden voyage, and I am here with the intellectual savior of the masses, your idol, and future Oscar award-winning star, Aron Stevens. How you doing, man?
I am lovely. How are you?
I am.
Thank you for the intro.
Oh well, thank you. That's the one thing I was good at in wrestling. So I figured I'd give you one of those.
You were good at much more than that.
Oh well, you're too kind. You're too kind. So you've been doing NWA Power for you did the tapings, and that for me has been one of the highlights. It's old school wrestling at its finest. And I grew up on Memphis wrestling, which had some of that kind of silly stuff, like quote unquote silly stuff, but it made sense in the context of the rules we're playing with, I guess.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because the reaction to NWA Power has been overwhelmingly positive. And what's really, really cool is that it seems to me like, again, and it is for everyone, but it's like a wrestler's wrestling show, because anyone that I know that's been involved in the business has had a positive reaction to it, and that is really, really cool. It kind of hits a nerve, you know. It hits the nostalgic nerve a little bit. There's the that old school kind of charm about it, but it also is a very up to date product as well as far as the in ring stuff. So that's what kind of I think is making NWA Power such a great success, and the NWA such a great success.
And you definitely hold up your end for sure.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I watched guest starring appearance in Magnum. That was just recently. How did that come about?
No, you know, I when I kind of left wrestling, and I had no real aspirations of ever getting in a ring again. You know, I said I'm going to try Hollywood, and then just kind of, you know, literally it was out there, just kind of hit the grind in Hollywood. And you know, I did not capitalize via the lady that's kind of in charge of my career now. You know, she's such an old school type personality. She just was like, yeah, you're going to rebuild yourself from the ground up. If I'm going to be in charge of you, you're going to disassociate from anything that a wrestler would do and learn how to act, you know, the way I want you to. And, you know, she's been right every time. And, you know, I did an NBC show last year called Midnight Texas, which was great. You know, then Magnum this year is good. So it's just kind of like slowly building. And then I'm doing a bunch of, you know, like independent movies and stuff too, which you're kind of, you spread your wings there on the indie films. A lot like wrestling, you know, really not unlike wrestling at all. I mean, you know, so it's a lot of fun.
It sounds like you've been really enjoying it though. So you had never, so you didn't really miss wrestling too much, huh?
I did not, because, you know, frankly, I had somewhat of a bad taste in my mouth, but the NWA, I tell you what, it's been like a mouthwash, because there's no more bad taste in my mouth.
Oddly enough, that metaphor makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready to answer 6 quick questions for me?
Let's do it.
Question number 1. When did you know you wanted to be a wrestler? Actually, this is a 2-pronged question for you. I want to know, when did you know you wanted to get into acting as well?
Okay, so I was 5 years old. I was at a department store with my mom. There was a plethora of these like little arcade, not little arcade games. So I was 5, but like the old school arcade games. And I asked her, like, hey, can I go play one? And she said, yes, if you behave yourself. So I did. I got a quarter. I just happened to put a quarter in the wrestling one. And I remember distinctly I had to stand on a stool to play it. I, of course, lost horribly, and the little character on the screen taunted me, and that's when I said I was going to be a wrestler, and the rest is history. As far as an actor goes, when I was in WWE, especially towards like the second half or the latter half of my my time there, I just kind of fell into these more theatrical roles, and then just met a couple people out there that said, "Hey, you should really try to give acting a shot," and this and that. I just said, no. But then I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna actually try this. And once I learned what it was about, I truly, I did love it, and I do love it, and that's just kind of how I ended up there.
Question number 2. What do you wish you had known when you had started out?
Listen to the fans above all else. The business is about the fans, not the people in the ring.
Could you elaborate for me?
Yes. So many guys and girls, when they start, it's all about like, oh, I want to do this move, I want to do that move, I want to hit this spot. And, you can do great moves, and great moves are awesome. I love watching them. But if fans don't care about them, and if they just go, ooh, that was cool, and they're still like eating popcorn and checking their cell phones, and they're not emotionally invested in what you're doing, the performance is really not at all what it should be, or as good as it could be. So that's kind of where I wish I would have learned back then as a youngin.
That makes a lot of sense, and now I feel like Rip must have felt dealing with us.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm so sorry.
God, I can only imagine. And I owe Rip a lot too. A lot, really. Like he's the guy that polished me, and then kind of made me the in-ring performer I am today.
I am not surprised to hear that. He was.
Yeah.
I am not surprised to hear that at all. He has a lot more influence than I think people realize.
Absolutely.
Question number 3. What's your go-to order at your favorite hometown restaurant?
Okay. It's funny you should ask, because I've actually lived a number of different places. Obviously, like Louisville has been my home on 2 separate occasions for a number of years, and that city is just it really is like it's just as much a part of me as any other city I've ever lived in, including the city I was born in. California, not so much, especially LA. But so I'm home right now, where I grew up in North Oxford, Massachusetts. There is a Chinese restaurant called Meiji, and let me tell you something: the crab rangoon and the sweet and sour chicken, out of this world. There you go. And I shamelessly will plug that all the time. It's my favorite restaurant ever.
Duly noted, and I'm going to start looking for sponsorships.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, it's just, I live in a very, very small town, so when a restaurant opens up, everyone knows it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I had no idea how small your town was. Okay. Small town boy makes good.
Yes.
How many?
I want to say about 10,000.
10,000. Wow, that is small. And I'm from Jeffersonville.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, but.
Wow.
Oh no, when I moved to Louisville, it was going to the big city.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What did you first think when you got here?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. To this day, again, there's a part of that city, I just go there and it just feels like home, and I don't know why. I'm just as much at home there as I am in Massachusetts. It's very strange.
That's really cool.
Yeah, like Florida isn't like that at all. I mean, I love. I lived in Florida for years. Loved Florida. Malibu is just, it is what it is. But when I land in Louisville, it's like the plane lands, and I could be gone for a year or something like that. But I come back and it's just like, oh, okay, cool. I'm home.
Question number 4. What are you curious about?
You know what? I'm actually really, really interested in kind of like metaphysics, believe it or not. Metaphysics and quantum physics is something I'm really fascinated by, and I think both metaphysics and quantum physics they're studying the same thing, and I just absolutely love it.
What started you down this path?
I've always been somewhat a spiritual person, and I just think it's cool when you can actually blend, the spiritual and the concrete, or the scientific, as they say. And I think, blending the two and searching for the divine in the workings of our universe is great and it's the right way. And quantum physics is getting closer and closer and making new discoveries every day, proving that fact. So that's just really cool to me.
What would be a beginner way to get into those things?
Check out Joe Dispenza.
Joe Dispenza?
Yeah. No, he's pretty much one of the leading. I mean, you can go to YouTube, check him out. You know, he's written several books, I believe, but he's very, very good at blending the two, blending science and the spiritual. And again, I say spiritual. I don't mean that in the dogmatic sense. I mean that in the what we believe, like energy and kind of things like that. It's really fascinating.
Question number 5. Is there anything I should have asked but didn't?
You have been so on point, it's not even funny. I mean, you have pretty much covered the entire spectrum of who I am as a human being.
That's thinly veiled sarcasm. So let me try
No,
this again.
I don't mean that. No, you're covering it all.
Let me see. You're gonna make me work for this, aren't you? Let me see.
No, you know what? What would I tell you what? What would you like to know about me?
There is one question I want to ask, and you know what? I won't even erase it. And I'll do another one. What? Okay. And you can tell me it's none of my business. That's cool too. What happened between you winning Money in the Bank and the cash in, if you know anything? Because that's the one thing that's always confused me, to be honest. And I've always wanted to ask, but I didn't know if it was a touchy subject or not. And I will erase this if you don't want to.
We've been friends for how long now? I mean, no, of course you can ask me. No, I am still kind of dumbfounded about it. Again, it was just, they put the briefcase in my hands. I did the best I could. And really just, they really didn't explain a lot. But then again, I'm not one of these people that goes and cries to the office when I don't get my way. I'm worried about executing the best I can. And, it's sad. I hear a lot of people there are just, crying if they're going to lose a title or not win a title. And that to me is complete, utter nonsense. And that just, to me, shows a severe degree of unprofessionalism.
I can't argue with that one. Yeah, I'm in total agreement.
And look, the way I looked at it, I was good enough where I don't have to win. I don't have to win a fake match or win a fake title. As far as being a performer, I'm not sounding arrogant. I mean, this is just the way I've always approached everything. I'm good enough where I'll be able to get, have the crowd boo me, cheer me, love me, hate me, or do whatever I have to do if given the opportunity.
And you've done that. You've done that with everything that I saw you do, and the WrestleMania pop really got me in the feels, man. I got goosebumps.
Thank you.
Because I know, I remember one of our first times we got in the ring together, and you had just got there or whatever, and I guess it was a Fujiwara armbar, my attempt at it, and you let me have it instead of fighting me for it or whatever. And I was like, all right, no, grab it, go ahead, come on, and
yes, oh my God, I remember that, yes.
And
wow.
And that was one of my first memories of you, and to see where you've gone and who you've become and how you've evolved, and it's really cool to see people I personally have met and talked with and oddly enough worked with. To watch that, unfortunately I got to honestly watch a lot of yours on television, but
cool.
Well,
again, thank you for always being there and being as cool as you are. And you really did help me. And again, it's so funny because I don't remember a lot in terms of my wrestling career and where and what and when. I remember that. I absolutely remember that.
That's crazy. That's really weird. That was just some random practice.
Yes.
But yeah, man, it's been
cool.
It's been cool. Question number 6. If you could create a new holiday, what would it commemorate?
My God, what a question that is. A new holiday. So it would be to commemorate something?
Yes, and I am a former Toastmaster, so you can bend this question however you need to answer it.
You know what? I wouldn't want to commemorate celebrate anything so much as celebrate something. I think we should have Rip Rogers Day.
And for those, I'm probably gonna have some non-wrestling people listening to this. So please explain who Rip Rogers is.
Rip Rogers is the best professional wrestler you may have never heard of. If you're in the wrestling business, you've definitely heard of him. He is just like he's like the Yoda of pro wrestling. He's a very interesting individual. He's been described as eccentric in some circles. I get him, and I owe my career greatly to him, or a large part of my career to him. And you know what? I think what we would do, instead of giving each other gifts or coloring eggs or whatever, there would just be simply a watching of the movie The Midnight Cowboys. What do you think? You back me up on that one?
Yes, I am all for it. I am all for it. So, do you have any upcoming projects or things you want to plug?
I have stuff for 2020. Have a sci-fi movie coming out. One I had to sign a non-disclosure for, but I will just tell you to please be on the lookout. You can check my Instagram at the Aron Files. That's TheAron Files. And you can kind of stay up to date on what's going on there. And other than that, just I will keep you updated. And make sure to watch NWA Power.
NWA Power, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's every Tuesday at 6 o'clock is when that drops on YouTube.
Yeah, 6:05. Old school.
Oh, the 605, the mothership.
Yes, 6:05.
All right, man. Thank you, Aron. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Great talking again.
Yes, sir. You take care of yourself. I don't want to take up any extra time, and you be good and keep me posted on anything, and let me know if I can do anything for you.
Will do, and you do the same.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you soon.
You got it.
So that's the premiere of Damon Does the 6 Questions. So let me know what you think. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from. That helps the show get seen more, and we can grow this thing. So until next time, see it, hear it, speak it, live.
I hope you had a great day, everyone.